personal.
Oh,
That I know. Yeah.
Move a little bit farther back.
Because they can.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know that they're not making faces behind it. Okay, cool. Here, I'm gonna introduce everybody.
No, I know.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and the people watching on the internet. There's nobody watching on the internet yet. Okay. And nobody's gonna watch this video, but I'll send you a link to it later on so you can watch yourself and have memories. Welcome to the first debate for level 8. Today we're going to be debating whether or not violent video games actually lead to real violence. And on this team, they're going to be arguing yes, violent video games in fact do lead to actual violence. They'll be citing some research, even some anecdotal evidence, and among other things. And team disagrees over here. They're going to be arguing no, violent video games don't actually lead to real violence. So we're not arguing whether or not they're good or bad. It's just whether or not they lead to actual violence. So for each team, we'll get 7 minutes. Each team will get an allotted amount of time. So when you're standing here, you can kind of look over and see the big clock is counting down over there, right? 7 minutes maximum. You don't have to speak for 7 minutes for each side. You guys get 7 minutes, and you get 7 minutes. And in the next round, there's going to be a 5-minute segment where you guys get 5 minutes to respond back to the other team, which you might have heard, and in like manner, this team over here will also get a chance to get 5 minutes. And then the last segment will be 2 minutes. So it's 5 minutes. I'm sorry, 7 minutes, 7 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. And at the end, you'll get a chance to have a Q&A, question and answer session, and a vigorous, back and forth talk about it. And so, by the way, if any one of you would prefer to not have yourself on the internet, your face not on the internet, that's totally fine. All I'll do is just put my hat over the camera. Okay. Is it? Yeah. Is anybody would prefer when you come up here? So whenever you come up here, would you prefer to have your face covered? Yeah? Mm-hmm. Is it? No? You're cool? You're cool? Everybody all right? Yeah. I'll leave my hat on my desk. But let me know, because I respect your privacy, and I can even blur out your image later on if you want to do that. Okay? Okay, so coming up to the big podium, I want y'all to give them a... Oh, actually, before I do that, I'm going to hand these out. Those of you in the audience actually have a survey. You can vote on which team do you think made the best case. Here you are, sir. And at the end, I'm going to collect these, and you get a chance to maybe make comments on it while they are presenting their case. Some of you probably already have an opinion about whether or not violent video games lead to real violence, maybe, right? Well, yeah, what you're writing down on the survey is which team made the best case for it, right, for their side, really, okay? Okay, so let's give Team Agree a hand. They have 7 minutes to speak. Let's give them some confidence. Whoever's coming up here is going to speak first, okay? Good luck, y'all. All right, good luck. Oh, there we go.
Let's go. Can you imagine you lost your son for a video game? Can you imagine you lost your nephew for a video game? So we already lost a lot of children for the video games now in USA. More than 300. Just child lost her life for the video games. So I will start our debate like this, because this is so intensive. So I don't talk just like emotion. Today I have some researches, and you guys know video games can lead to real violence. So we have a company, the American faz physiological association, is like APA. I will talk about this company. That's why you can understand how big is this. This company is the largest scientific and professional organization representing physiologic in the United States and the world largest association. They have 159,000 members. It's not like, oh, I think video game is good or no. No, 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 no. I don't talk about this. I talk 100,000 membership. And in this, playing video games like Doom, when you, oh, Fabio, why they study this? That's why. These video games require the player to identify with the aggressor. When I go to this video game, I need to be like, oh, I'm in this video game now. And one study reveals young men who are absolutely aggressive can repeat some things they saw in video games in real life. That means they repeat in physiologic, they repeat this in real life. Like aggressor your mom, aggressor your dad, aggressor your other kids, and you don't know why. What's happening with my son? What's happening with my nephew? So if you look, this is a study. Not just, oh, I think my son is not good. No, no, no. They put a lot of kids together and do a study. And so when I found this, it's like crazy. In labor, they have not only statistics, but with mental disorder. More than the kids watching video games, do what video games, they have more mental disorder. This is a study. It's not a scientist. It's not like, oh, I think it is. But we find something crazy. We will talk after. You will see something like crazy. But I will start now. In United States, we have some video games banned because people do the steps the video game follow. Oh, your first step, we will talk about this later, but I will start here. But the problem is several kids committed suicide during they play this video game. Can you imagine? I will do the question again. I will start. Can you imagine your son lost her life because he won't play violent video games? Or now you know you can do something about this. Because I know we have a lot of video games can increase our son or nephews. We do better math, we do better life include, but violent video games, we have now research about this. We have now study about this. Not just feeling. Oh, I feeling my son it's aggressor now. I don't know why, but we have study about this. We have research. And the worst things when we have a lot of kids committed suicide because they just follow violent video games. Thank you. And I agree, video games, yes, can lead the aggressor in real life. Thank you so
All right,
much.
give a hand, everybody. Yay! All right, so now team disagree is 7 minutes, and yeah. Hello, everyone. Hello. There was a very strong agreement, Fabio agreeing to that violent video games lead to real violence. I know there's a lot of articles online stating that it does, but there's no real proven fact that it really leads to violence. And I have a few anecdotal evidence. I myself used to play violent video games, like Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, Counter-Strike. Now, I would say I would get annoyed or agitated at some point, but if I lose in a game or something, but it never forced me or convinced me to be violent to my family or breaking some things or something. It never led me to violence. Yes, I might get annoyed, but there's a difference in being violent and getting annoyed or getting agitated. I have a few studies here and a few analysis proving my point that there is no real evidence that states that violent video games leads to real world violence. And I have a few analyses that I'm going to read here. Jay Hull, a social psychologist at Dartmouth College and co-author on the newspaper, and his colleagues, pulled data from 24 studies that had been selected to avoid some of the criticisms leveled at earlier work. They only included research that measured the relationship between violent video game use and overt physical aggression. They also limited their analysis to studies that statistically controlled for several factors that could influence the relationship between gaming and subsequent behavior, such as age and baseline aggressive behavior. Even with these constraints, their analysis found kids who played violent video games did become more aggressive over time, but changes in behavior were not big. According to traditional ways of looking at these numbers, it's not a large effect. I would say it's relatively small, he says. But statistically reliable, it's not by chance and not inconsequential. Yet researchers who have been critical of links between game and violence contend Hull's meta-analysis does not settle the issue. They don't find much. They just try to make it sound like they do, says Christopher Ferguson, a psychologist at Stetson University in Florida, who has published papers questioning the link between violent video games and aggression. The new analysis attempted to navigate through the minefield of conflicting research. Many studies find gaming associated with increase in aggression, but others identified no such link. A small but vocal cadre of researchers have argued much of the work implicating video games has serious flaws in that, among other things. It measures the frequency of aggressive thoughts or languages rather than physically aggressive behaviors like hitting or pushing, which have more real-world evidence. But speaking according to researchers who has studied violent video games for almost 15 years, I can claim that violent media and real-world violence are not connected. As far back as 2011, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that research did not find a clear connection between violent video games and aggressive behavior. Criminologists who study mass shootings specifically refer to those sorts of connection as myth. And in 2017, the Media Psychology and Technology Division of American Psychological Association released a statement I helped craft suggesting reporters and policymakers cease linking mass shootings to violent media given the lack of evidence for a link. And I have a few team members who have anecdotal evidence that they're gonna prove my point. Thank you. Oh, are they gonna talk now or later?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Who's talking next? Go.
Maybe when their turn comes.
Oh, when their turn?
Yeah.
There goes Marcy. Yeah. So that's, yeah, so go.
I protest. Because video games are games that do not influence violence. I see my kids who play Fortnite and are not violent or go out on the street fighting. Video games are very fun. I love it. I've played since I started with Atari, and if I were violent, I would never let my kids play. For me, it's very funny. I disagree. Wait, okay. And you.
Someone else want to say?
No, that's it.
That's it for this time? Okay, cool. No, all right.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, good game, everybody. So that's the first round. Everybody made their opening remarks, and first of all, I gotta say it. So at this point during the 5 minute segment, they're gonna get a chance to. They can either use that to further their case, say something different or new, or they can use this 5 minutes to respond to what the other side had said earlier. And I gotta just mark now that I marked just as a on how people are presenting. I would appreciate how Fabio started with a rhetorical question. A very powerful way to grab people's attention. And you're citing research and explaining why your source is trustworthy. Just saying, as a critiquing how you're speaking, not what you're saying there. And I liked how you were also teasing, saying, hey, wait, later on you're going to see something crazy, right? Something's like, ooh, all right, like tease. And I liked how you conceded at the end. It's like, yes, I can see why people see violent video games as being violent. But yeah, you clarified, have anecdotal evidence. Great use of the word anecdotal. That's exactly what you were presenting there. I used to play. I don't see myself as violent, and you cited research and explained why it's inconclusive, short term but not long term kind of thing. Okay, anyway, and yeah, great anecdotal evidence of your own, right? Seemed very personal between you and him. All right. Okay. So you really just want to beat him personally, right? All right. So this team is now going to have 5 minutes to continue what they're saying. All right, so let's give them some confidence as they're coming up. I believe in you, Ms. Laura. Yay. All right.
Okay, thank you, everyone. So just like Ms. Fabio talked about, violent video game can lead to violence behavior. But just like Ryan talked about, they give some analysis about violent video game didn't result the violent behavior. And Marcia talked about her son played game day and night. But I think Marcia's son didn't play violent game. I think so, yeah. And Ryan talked about he played some video game for a long time, but I think you didn't play like Fabio talked about, like
PUBG.
blooded violent game. So I think if you play the violent game for a long time, maybe your feeling and your thinking will result violent behavior. Your behavior will aggressive, and your mom, your family will worry about that. So let me talk about my friend Sam. He played violent game for a long time, and he often behave. He often aggressive. He often angry with his mother. Even his mother just suggest you should be good and you should be focused on your study. But he just he just he couldn't follow his mother advice, and sometimes he angry with the suggestion and shows some aggressive behavior on his mom. So, and let me give you another real example. My nephew, he played game in a video game room with his friends, day and night. So he give up his study. And sometimes his father will go out, go to the game room to help him to how to say solve the problem. So I think the shortage if you play the video game for short time, it doesn't matter. If the video game is very violent, and if you play for a long time, it really lead to the violent behavior. So let Erin talk about another example.
About 1 minute. You wanna-
7 minutes in another.
I finish, okay.
Okay, you want to save it for later?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Alright, sounds fine, no worries. Alright, well done, thank you. Let me clear that then. Okay, now this team is gonna get 5 minutes to respond back there. I guess it's Miss Sophia, right? Alright, yeah, let's give her some confidence as she's coming up to the big podium. It's hard to get in front of people. You guys are doing it. Yeah. Alright. You can go anytime.
So I will continue about what my team is saying. So I want to talk about, for example, for your son that you say that you lose your son because of violence. So it's just a study. It's not something sure. So all this study we say yes, you say no. It's not something natural. It's for a small rate of people or small group of people. So maybe it will be wrong, maybe it will be not true. And for guy you're talking about, the teenager, so you say that he has the violence and he will or something like this because he played the violence game. So I say maybe, but maybe not, because you don't know what he has in his home and what he has from depression or from pressure from his parents, or what he like in life. So all of these, it's just still a study. So you are not sure about this. So we don't need to plan the video games, or we don't need to say this is because of a violence game. So we need to act for ourselves, for our home, what we do with our children. So this video game, maybe it helped, but it's not the main reason for this. Because some of the people, they have the background from violence, or someone from his family, he harmed him, or he hit him, for example. Or some of people, they have mental issue. So this is not right for the games. So in my view, or in my team view, we say, for example, the violence game or another video game, it's not what lead you to violence, because some of them, they lead you to develop your mental skills or mental ability, or control yourself. And also, if you control your son or control your children, from this or you will talk with them, they will not do that because this is not the same reason. If they understand this and they have background about this is just a game, they will not do that. So, also, if you have, for example, your son, he have a problem in his school, or he have low grade, or he has, he is harmful, or he tried to harm another people, or for example, he kills someone, you can go talk with him. You can take him to the doctors or to understand what he has from the pressure, what he has from background, what lead you to what lead him to make this. So there is another example. Marcia children. She talked about her children. They play this game, but they don't have any from this behavior or bad behavior, or they rude with people, or they are harmful. So you cannot say if he didn't play this game, he will not be harmful. You need to have a background about these things. Why he will do that? So the violence game or video game in general, it will not lead you, anyone to do any bad behavior. So you speak for him and what he say about the studies and these things.
Yeah.
So I'm with him. So I disagree that it will be harmful for the kids or for the children or for anyone.
Okay. Yeah. We're talking 30 seconds. Okay, go ahead.
So also, I would like to point that Miss Laura said that Miss Marcia didn't said that if her children were playing violent games. Now I don't know if she mentioned or not, but she said her children play Fortnite, which is a violent game. It might be graphically tricked game. And talking about me too, I used to play Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, and Counter-Strike. Now that's one of the violent games out there. Grand Theft Auto is stealing cars, killing people on the street, getting into gangs. Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, killing terrorists. I mean, that's one of the violent games out there, and that's one of the most played games. And our debate, we're talking into one of the most played games in the United States and all over the world.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to point that out. Thank you.
Great. Awesome. Hey, I gotta say, so we're at the point where we're gonna have closing remarks of 2 minutes each, and just gonna comment on how each team used this what you just heard. How each team used the 5 minute to directly respond to the other. I heard both teams doing this. This is great. You were directly addressing what you had heard earlier. Yeah. I heard you say this, but they're more or less it was that's all I wrote down is that both of you were responding directly to each other, which is good. Yeah. Anyway, so 2 minutes at the end, and then after that, I'm going to open it up for Q&A. And those of you who are out in the audience, keep in mind you got a little survey here. You don't have to put your name on it. You can keep it anonymous. Who do you think won the debate? Team agreed, team disagreed. Did any arguments? Maybe have you reconsider your opinion on the topic? And if you have any comments, you can put them on the back. I'll eventually make copies of this. I'll send a PDF to everybody. You can see the comments if you want to. If you want to participate in a little survey, you can. And they're anonymous too. No one's going to find out who you are, unless they know your handwriting or something. I don't know. 2 minutes. I guess it's you, right? Okay. Let's give her some comments as she's podium here. I believe in you.
Hi guys, so I'll summarize my teammates. So I believe it leads violence, maybe not directly, but indirectly it totally leads to violence. Because I can give you an anecdote about my brother. He's a video game addict, like really little. He plays like 724 video games on the computer all the time. And when we tell him to join us with the dinner and join us in breakfast, he doesn't care. He just wanna play game. And my mother and my father, he doesn't care because they thought that it's okay, you know, it's just video game. He's just playing with his computer. But they didn't understand that those video games changed him a lot. Because they didn't say anything and he thought that's okay, and he started to be aggressive with us. When I told him to come to the dinner, he said no and shut the door to my face. So it doesn't directly lead to violence, like as like killing people or, you know, shooting someone on the street, not like that, but he started with those behaviors, like with the family first. I believe in that. So another thing, I heard a game, and I had some research about it. This game called Blue Whale. I don't know if you ever heard about it, guys. So this game is banned in the world. Actually, it started in Russia, and it's a 50 task game, and you start with like, I don't know how to say it, cutting your arm, like a whale picture on your arm. And the second one is waking up in the night and taking your photo or watching a horror film. And the third task is like going outside in the night to the train station and taking your photo and that kind of stuff. And they play these games, those teenagers play these games because they have some mental disorder and they have some, because they're teenager. They're trying to grow and they're not adult. They don't know how to. Is it done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah,
All right.
thank you so much.
Community is very fast.
Yeah.
I have a counter argument to this point later on.
Yeah. That's right. And I figured, okay, I guess it's Mr. Desant. Give me some confidence as it's coming up here. I'm gonna give all you guys a chance to respond to each other. Yeah, all right. 2 minutes. Go ahead, sir.
Hello everyone. I think video games is just a target in today's world. The percentage of people playing video games is like very few. Like in today's scenario, you see the real crimes and things happening is by watching movies. Lots of killings and robberies and everything by watching movies. Still movies are open to everyone. To all the generations, like kids, adults, everyone. You see people cutting, like Iram told that people are cutting their wrists. It's very common in movies they show. If they are going through a depression, people just simply cut their veins. So video games is a very small percentage. I don't think so that it targets the entire world, but movies affects a lot. There are horrible crimes shown in the movies. It takes place in real lives. And that's a very bigger audience. If this is a threat, then movies should be banned immediately. But no, movies are open to everyone. Video games is a small set of people playing for their enjoyment. It's just for the relaxation. I have played one game, like it's called Deer Hunt. They shoot reindeers and the dino hunt, even the dino hunt. But I didn't find like, oh, if I shoot someone, oh, no, I will kill a real deer or someone. No, it doesn't instigate me to do something like that. So video games is just a form of pure entertainment and relaxation.
Right.
Thank
Go.
you.
30 seconds. So you have 30 seconds. Yeah, go for it.
1 second. Laura, let's go back to the time of COVID.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for video games in the pandemic, our kids would have serious problems for not having to do. Because I couldn't be with friends playing in the street and inside the house with him. But they could be together online. Calming or children in middle of pandemic.
Okay. All right. First of all, so I'm gonna open it up to everybody to maybe make a comment and or questions of other people in crosstalk. First of all, let's give everybody a hand for all that they prepared. Good job, both of y'all. Okay, I heard a request already. You wanted to make a comment across here.
Yeah.
And start thinking about a question you'd like to ask somebody on either side. Okay, go for it. Yeah, what were you wanting to say? Do you want to open up to them first, or yeah? Well, let's have you make a comment first, and then we'll.
We can let them open up.
Okay, yeah, what is that? Let's rejoice. All right, Mr. Syed. Yeah, go for it.
I have a question with this team. It is not with any person. Anyone can reply. If these games are not violent, so why 45 countries in worldwide banned these games, including India? They banned PUBG, Fallout 3, and other games also. And we are talking about violent games for the kids, especially, like they are taking, because if you can, like, if you are adult and you can understand what this is not right, but especially kids, they are taking. And I disagree few things like there is no news. Yes, there are hundreds of news. People suicide, kids suicide in the schools. And recently in US also in Fort Bend County, there was a vandalism because of the game challenges. Kids were going in the washroom and they were breaking stuff. And rating, yes, I agree on that thing. Kids should be allowed and people should be allowed to play game, but there should be rating or parental guidance, and without parents' permission they could not download those games if they are underage. Because if there are not only violence games, there are games, sexual harassment, sexualism, bad language,
Okay.
so these things are there also. So what is your opinion about that thing, guys?
Yeah, I would just like to.
I would say that you're saying 45 countries banned video games, right? And you mentioned that India banned PUBG and Fallout. Now, I would like to say that is something political, because
Yeah,
PUBG and Fallout is a
Yeah,
Chinese game.
it was not for the
And
gaming
India and
issue, it
China
was
are
the
not in
political
good
issue.
terms.
Yeah.
That's why they banned those games. Now, there is similar games as PUBG in India, but the only reason they banned Fallout and PUBG was because it was Chinese game.
Oh.
Now, if you're saying that there should be a limitation that, as what Aram also said, that teenagers don't know what games is, just like she talked about Blue Whale. Now, that goes on to parenting. Now, if your kids don't know what they're doing, and if the kids are not old enough to understand things, now they should be under parental guidance. Parents should be taking care of them, and parents should be watching what they're doing on their. If you give them phones or tablets or video games or whatever, you should be monitoring them, what they're doing on their devices. And that goes on parenting.
Okay. Cool. Would someone over here like to respond to that? Yeah, go ahead, Ms. Fabio.
Because I think you respond for us is you agree with us. Thank you, because movies like this and just extend for video games. I think the game here is repetition. If you saw news, bad news every day, you are a person different. A person see good things. That's it. If they saw video games every day, bad video game, for sure, this is psychology. We have some like, you don't have some research. So guys, I do a background or background. It's just a biggest research in the world. I don't know if you guys know about. I told you.
Yeah, you emphasized that.
This company is the largest in world. It's not like newsletter. I don't know that the guy you told him, but the people knows APA because the world. It's not like and you can't just like my son is good and he play video game every day. Your son, but we have billion kids. We have other problems.
Sure.
I can't just I do background with you guys, not just one person.
Cool.
Let's ask-
Someone wanna-
ask-
yeah, go
I
ahead.
have a question.
You go
I have
ahead,
a
yeah.
question.
Yes, you can.
Do you play video game?
No. That's why I don't like bad things.
Yeah,
That's why I said about
that's
my
what
personal
No.
experience.
I don't have. I don't need real experience with me.
Okay, I agree with
I
Ryan.
like because, for example, if I don't like tomatoes, for me I don't like tomatoes, but a lot of person eat tomatoes and die. Oh, we look and search, not just.
Yeah, that's what I agree with Ryan. That it's not only video games. The parents should know what the kid is watching. It's not only video games. They can be watching any movie. They can be watching any, you know, explicit content. And the media is like that. What, like Fabio says, the news and everything. That's the media that wants to show us the picture. If they want to show us this, they will show us this. If they want to show us something else, they will show something else.
Okay.
So media is related to like wherever they are getting paid more, show that content to us.
Fair enough. So I think it goes back to responsibilities.
Yeah.
I know.
खुद बच्चे को allow करेगा.
It's different phase in the game.
That's why when video games you have face, you need to
I-
like the video games. I don't
पूछो
know.
सवाल.
Oh, well.
They need follow steps, and one this is suicide. The one if your son don't play this video game,
The
but
game, okay?
when your son look this video game and try follow, I think you will change your mind.
All right. I was gonna open up Mr. Strauss. I think you wanted to weigh in, didn't you?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure. Who you asking? Just everybody? Sure. This guy. Sure. All right.
Two questions. So you said like you never played the video game, right?
No, never. I played some, but
Some other
So
games,
it's
not a
not
violent
like
game.
But what I
I
think
played
is like
Mortal
when
Kombat.
she asked, you said no, you don't play. But like my question was like, how can you judge something you never tried? For example, when you was talking about the tomatoes, like if people get, for example, if you don't like the tomatoes, how do you know you don't like the tomatoes? If you
for
don't
research.
Yeah.
1,000 people, not like me.
Yeah, but
If I judge everything by myself,
So
crazy.
so that means
I
like
need
people
I need
take
to have
the
that
decision
research
for you.
For you.
So if all we
I
say,
don't
for
have
example,
cancer. I need look for cancer. I don't have cancer.
Okay.
But
Right.
research do cancer about this, and we have 100 people, 100,000 people with this problem. Not just you.
Fair enough.
That's
Yeah.
why if I
You
clear
tell me
Yeah.
like you
doesn't
never
matter.
try something but you don't like.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Was there a second one you
So
said?
if here like we fourth we say like okay, you should not have the grass in your around your house, so you won't do it because we told you don't do it.
Okay, all right. So, okay, fair enough. Somebody else want to
Discussion
weigh in
fun,
with a
guys.
comment or a question there? Thanks for weighing in. I appreciate it. Yeah. How could you criticize if you've never tried it? And I think
Yeah,
you
and the
made a very
second
strong point at the
thing,
beginning.
yeah, sorry.
Decided
And the
research,
second
yeah.
thing I wanted to say like I said like what you said is really true,
Mm.
but I think like the main of this problem is like most of the time the education. For example, I believe like in South America and Africa, it's really difficult to have kids like this because you know already what's going to happen if you disrespect your parent. Like for example, if you playing and the parent call you to eat, you don't come. You know she will punch you really fast, and that's a part of education because in Europe. They have Europe and North America. They have a really protection for kids. Like if you eat your kids, you can get the trouble. But in other continents, it's not really like this. It's a part of your education. Like if
Okay.
you want the kid to obey everything you say.
Cool. All right. Oh, somebody else wanted to say something over here. I think you were chomping at the bit. You were one with me. Okay. Oh, you're good?
Yeah, I'm
Go.
good.
All right. Anybody else want to weigh in with something? Okay, y'all. So you filled out your little survey there, and yeah, and, if you want to turn that in, you could dump it in this thing over here. But again, give everybody a big hand for. Okay. Well, actually, I was just curious. You know, you guys didn't get to pick which team you're in. Do you now that the debate is over? Okay. You personally, were you put in a team that you already agree with a little bit?
Yeah,
somewhat?
I would agree because it's for me, okay, personally,
Right.
because so I did research for a lot of person, and when I talk with a person like she or he likes so much so news like a blood like blooding table, it's a person like it's different when you have some person a group don't want this, and I don't know if the video games, but
Sure.
I think this video game can lead a violence. I
At
think
least one factor
it's
maybe.
is some video games is like crazy,
Sure.
and today kids go to play video games and nothing more.
Yeah.
And like Ian said,
The
it's
obsessiveness.
we don't have more social. We don't have when we are kids. I think it's different.
It was
It's
completely different.
totally different. When I play video game, I do think with my mom. I do think with my dad.
Sure.
Today I think it's like the kids just like here
Very
and,
obsessive, yeah.
and it's different.
Sure.
And
That's because
I
like
also want to weigh in.
Do you
Yes.
have two boys now, no?
But parents can control their children all the time because it's really hard. Every parents are not educated and every parents are not ready to be parents.
Yeah.
So we have lots of kids on the street.
Oh.
I mean, they're on the street because their family, their parents don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're playing games like my parents. I mean, they can't tell anything to my brother, so he's just addicted.
Yeah. Is that, what were you wanting to say, Ryan? R- yeah.
The games.
Oh, Ryan, you were wanting to say something, man. Yeah.
Also that the debate is, I kind of agree too, because there's a very good evidence, I don't know why you guys didn't point it out. There was a mass shooting in Australia 2 years ago in a mosque.
Oh, that's right.
That,
Not in Australia, New Zealand.
Yeah, New Zealand. New
New
Zealand.
Zealand.
And he had the whole shooting live on his Facebook, on his gun. He said he wanted to recreate a scene of a video game.
yeah, we read about
Yeah.
this. It's crazy.
Interesting. Oh, so interested. Yet you could have easily been in this team and argued
Yes.
for either side.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah. That's what I was wondering about. Like, were you put in a team that you pretty much agree with? You've had personal experience.
And
with
I have a
other-
question with Mercy also, like,
Yeah.
you last week you were saying your kids are naughty, they're jumping all the time in the home.
Sir,
That is the
personal,
cause
she
of that
wouldn't
game.
answer that.
You need to watch.
Personal.
Oh,
I have two video games in my house: PlayStation and the Nintendo Switch. It's so funny.
Yeah, I
play
think there's the
And
idea
this-
for video
this
games is very
generation
fun.
is different.
Oh, it's
It's
like
totally different.
Marcia,
yeah.
are you happy with your children? Really, from your heart? Be honest.
You can see how the debate is.
All right, it's over. Okay.
No, I'm mother. I know. Leave yourself play games.
Ah, this is great. Ah, awesome. Oh, this video is going viral. All right. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna get so many more subscribers on my YouTube channel for this argument. This is great. Okay. Yeah. I'll stop it.